Why is it that when pressure increases, you remain standing? Why is it that moments designed to break a person completely only seem to strengthen something deep inside you? Why do storms that destroy others move through your life, leave marks, leave memories, but never erase you? Capricorn, this message reaches you because there is something about you that does not quit. Something that refuses to disappear, even when life applies its full weight. You have walked through betrayal quietly, no crowd, no explanation, no apology. You have endured seasons of silence while others were supported, encouraged, and rescued. You learned how to survive without reassurance. You learned how to keep moving without being praised. You have carried responsibilities that arrived too early, weights you never asked for, expectations placed on you before you were ready. And still, you did not collapse. You adapted. You endured. You stayed upright. You are still breathing, still moving, still standing. That is not normal survival. That is something deeper. Tonight, we are not here to motivate you with empty words. We are not here to flatter your pain or romanticize struggle. We are here to uncover why your life has unfolded this way. Why pressure seems to carve strength into you instead of destroying you. Why heavy seasons last longer for you, but somehow shape you instead of ending you. Why you survive experiences that leave others emotionally stranded. Before we go any further, pause for a moment. I want you to leave just 2 simple words in the comment section. I survived. Not to prove anything, not to gain sympathy, not for anyone watching, but as a quiet acknowledgement to yourself. Because you know what you've lived through, you know what almost broke you, and you know how close you came, yet here you are. Stay with this message until the end. Because what you are about to understand will finally give meaning to the struggles you never fully explained and the strength you never realized you were quietly building. Some people move through life gently. Their path feels soft, support meets them early, comfort finds them often. You were never given that kind of road. From the very beginning, life introduced you to resistance. Things took longer than expected. Doors opened slowly, if at all. Progress came with effort, not ease. Responsibilities found you too early. You were asked to be strong before you fully understood strength. You carried expectations that felt heavy, long before you had words to explain the weight. While others were sheltered, you learned to adjust. While others leaned on someone else, you learned self-control. While others waited for help to arrive, you became your own support. This was not cruelty. This was not neglect. This was training. Your spirit was never meant to be revealed through comfort. Ease would have hidden your true depth. Stillness would have delayed your awakening. Pressure shaped you because your spirit could survive it. You learned to keep functioning even when pain sat quietly inside you. You learned to move forward while misunderstood. You learned to remain steady even when your efforts went unseen. You stayed disciplined when motivation disappeared. You stayed present when reassurance was absent. You stayed committed without applause. The road felt hard, not because you were weak, but because you were capable. Life did not give you softness, it gave you strength early. And without realizing it, each delay, each demand, each quiet responsibility was building a foundation sturdy enough to hold a future few are prepared to carry. You were never built for easy roads. You were built for roads that reveal resilience. You have a different relationship with pain than most people. You do not announce it. You do not exaggerate it. You do not turn it into a spectacle. When something hurts you deeply, you become quieter, not louder. You pull inward, you observe, you endure. This is something life taught you early. Somewhere along the way, you realized that being dramatic did not save you. Complaining did not change the outcome. Explaining yourself did not always bring understanding. So you learned another way. While others cry out hoping someone will come, you learned how to hold yourself together. Not because you wanted to be strong, but because you had no other choice. You learned to sit with pain without letting it spill everywhere. You learned to wake up, function, and show up even when something inside you was heavy. This is why people underestimate you. They look at your calm face and assume you are fine. They hear your steady voice and think you are unaffected. They watch you handle responsibilities and believe you are untouched by struggle. But they do not see what happens in your quiet moments. They do not see the late nights where thoughts weigh heavier than sleep. They do not see how often you carry emotional burdens alone. They do not see how much strength it takes for you to remain composed when everything inside you feels tired. You learn very early how to keep it together in public. You do not break down where everyone can watch. You do not lose control in front of people who do not understand your depth. You save your processing for private moments when no one is watching. You absorb pain silently. And this ability to contain pain without letting it control you is one of the main reasons you keep surviving what overwhelms others. You feel deeply, but you do not let emotions dictate your behavior. You may be hurting, but you still show discipline. You may feel exhausted, but you still move forward. You may be disappointed, but you do not collapse into chaos. This is not emotional coldness. This is emotional mastery. You have learned how to live with pain without becoming it. Others release everything immediately and then cannot gather themselves again. You hold things in, process slowly, and release only when it no longer controls you. That is endurance. That is survival training. Your silence is not emptiness. It is containment. It is you choosing stability over reaction. It is you choosing clarity over emotional destruction. It is you protecting your future from temporary breakdowns. This is why losses do not end you. This is why pressure does not destroy you. This is why stress does not erase you. Pain comes, but it does not dominate. You have built an internal system that knows how to stabilize itself even when everything feels heavy. And over time, that silence sharpened you. It taught you patience. It taught you self-control. It taught you how to endure long seasons without losing yourself. What others misunderstand as emotional distance is actually emotional strength. What others call coldness is actually self-preservation. What others think is numbness is actually deep awareness held under control. Your pain did not make you loud. It made you steady. And that steadiness, that quiet ability to endure without falling apart, is exactly why you continue to survive what breaks others completely. Many people spend their lives running from discomfort. They avoid anything that makes them feel unsettled. They distract themselves the moment things get heavy. They look for shortcuts out of pain. You do not live that way. When something becomes uncomfortable, you do not immediately turn away. You pause. You face it. When a conversation is difficult, you don't hide. You step into it. Even if your heart feels tight, even if the truth might hurt, even if listening means accepting something you didn't want to hear, you would rather know the truth than live inside a comforting lie. When life becomes heavy, you do not disappear. You stay present in the weight. You allow yourself to feel it instead of running from it. While others numb themselves through distractions, habits, or denial, you reflect. You ask questions. You look inward. You try to understand what the darkness is revealing. And while others escape pain at any cost, you endure it with awareness. This is one of the greatest reasons you survive. You do not pretend darkness does not exist. You do not deny loss, disappointment, or emotional pain. You acknowledge it fully. And because you acknowledge it, it loses its power to control you. Many people fall apart because they refuse to look at what hurts them. They trip over the same wounds repeatedly because they never stop to understand them. You are different. You walk directly through emotional darkness with open eyes. When something ends, you don't pretend it didn't matter. You mourn it privately. You examine what it taught you. You allow yourself time to process without rushing closure. That is why endings do not destroy you. Loss may change you. It may slow you down. It may deepen you. It may quiet parts of you. But it does not erase you. You do not fear collapse because you understand it. You know that breakdown often comes before clarity. You know that falling apart internally can make room for rebuilding stronger. Where others see failure, you find lessons. Where others see destruction, you see redirection. You do not panic when things fall apart. You breathe. You ground yourself. You begin again, slowly, carefully, honestly. Your courage is not in refusing darkness. It is in walking through it without losing yourself. This is why trauma does not consume you. This is why heaviness does not ruin your future. This is why painful chapters do not become your identity. You walk through darkness knowing there is something on the other side of it. That awareness keeps you moving. That awareness keeps you alive. That awareness ensures that no matter how heavy life becomes, you always rebuild instead of disappearing. You survive because you face what others run from. Not every spirit is built for constant sunshine. Some people grow best when life is easy, when progress is fast, when approval comes quickly. But you were shaped differently. You were forged in winter, in seasons where nothing seemed to move, where effort did not immediately reward you, where growth happened quietly, slowly, and often painfully. You know what it feels like to wait long for results, to work without recognition, to remain faithful to a vision while everything around you feels cold and empty. Delayed success became familiar to you. Recognition arrived late or not at all. Isolation stretched longer than expected. And yet, you stayed. Where others walked away because the reward took too long, you remained present. Where others lost belief in themselves, you continued, even while questioning everything inside. There were moments when doubt sat with you daily. Moments when you wondered if the patience was worth it. Moments when you questioned whether the silence meant failure, but something inside you refused to abandon the path. Your survival was not luck. It was conditioning. Just as winter hardens the earth before spring appears, those long seasons strengthened you. You learned how to endure without signs. You learned how to prepare without applause. You learned how to trust process over speed. And because of that, time no longer threatens you. Like mountains standing under heavy snow, you don't crumble when conditions last longer than expected. You don't panic when progress feels slow. You understand that some things take time to become solid. You do not rush your destiny. You do not force outcomes. You do not chase shortcuts that weaken foundations. That patience, the kind built through long waiting, becomes your greatest protection. Your achievements last because they are earned slowly. Your stability remains because it was tested repeatedly. Your strength holds because it was built over time. What others see as delay was actually preparation. What felt like long winters were shaping you to survive seasons that others were never meant to endure. And because of that conditioning, when success finally arrives, it stays. You were built for patience. You were trained for endurance. You were prepared for longevity. And that is why you keep surviving what time slowly destroys in others. You do not walk away from what is yours. When things become heavy, when pressure increases, when responsibility starts to feel overwhelming, you do not disappear. You remain. You show up when systems break down. You stay when others decide it is too much. You hold the structure together even when it costs you emotionally. Where many people retreat to protect themselves, you step forward to stabilize the situation. This is not because it is easy for you. It is because responsibility speaks to something deep in your spirit. You do not abandon commitments lightly. Once something matters to you, you treat it as part of your identity. This has affected you more times than you admit. There were moments where carrying so much left you exhausted. There were seasons where being the dependable one meant no one checked on you. There were times when the weight became too heavy and parts of you cracked under it. Yes, responsibility has broken parts of you before, but it also built something enduring. It built internal authority. You learned how to lead yourself without instruction. You learned how to make decisions under pressure. You learned how to remain grounded when others reacted emotionally. Over time, you became the calm presence in chaos. When situations fall apart, you do not panic. You assess, you stabilize, you act. While others spiral, you anchor yourself. You trust yourself in unstable environments because you have survived instability repeatedly. You believe your own judgment because you have had to rely on it when support was absent. This inner authority did not appear overnight. It was earned through responsibility, carried without relief. And that is why pressure affects you differently. What overwhelms others, you manage. What causes emotional collapse in others, you contain. It is not that you feel less. It is that you have trained yourself to respond with control. This is why you endure where others give up. This is why you remain standing when others fall under much less weight. You survive because you don't run from responsibility. You carry it, refine it, and grow stronger beneath it. Responsibility did not weaken you. It prepared you to stand firm when everything else begins to fall apart. Here's the part many people never understand about you. You do not survive because you fight louder than everyone else. You do not survive because you push past every limit. You do not survive by being reckless with your energy. Your survival is quiet, measured, aligned. You do not move without listening first. Before taking action, you observe. You sense when something is off. You pay attention to how situations feel, not just how they look. While others rush forward driven by pressure or fear, you pause. You listen to your inner signals. You notice when something begins to drain you instead of grow you. You recognize when effort becomes self-destruction. And because of that awareness, you step back before collapse happens. You retreat before exhaustion turns into damage. You rest before pressure becomes destruction. You adjust before situations spiral out of control. This is wisdom, not weakness. You know when something is no longer meant for you. A role, a relationship, a path that once made sense, but no longer fits. And when you realize this, you let go. You do not cling out of fear. You do not chase what depletes you. You do not exhaust yourself trying to prove your worth. That knowing protects you. It keeps you alive where others burn out. It keeps your strength intact while others overextend. It allows you to conserve energy instead of wasting it. You do not fight every battle. You do not try to win every argument. You do not give everything to everyone. You choose. You invest your energy where it has meaning. You pull back where it is ignored. You commit where there is alignment. That choice becomes your shield. While others collapse from exhaustion, you remain grounded. While others are drained by chaos, you preserve clarity. This is why pressure doesn't crush you. This is why stress doesn't erase you. This is why survival comes naturally to you. You are not reckless with your life. You respect it. And every time you choose alignment over force, you save yourself, again and again. Everything that tried to break you ended up waking something inside you. Each time trust was violated, you did not become weaker. You became clearer. Every betrayal taught you where to draw lines. It showed you what behavior you would no longer accept. It sharpened your sense of boundaries in ways comfort never could. Every delay tested your patience. Waiting longer than expected forced you to slow down, to listen, to refine instead of rush. And through that waiting, your patience deepened. You learned how to endure without becoming bitter. You learned how to stay grounded even when progress felt invisible. Every loss changed you, but it did not ruin you. Losing what mattered forced you to re-examine direction. It stripped away paths that were not aligned. It redirected your focus toward what truly mattered. Nothing defeated you. It taught you. Each painful experience removed false beliefs. Every disappointment corrected your assumptions. Every emotional wound pulled illusions away from your eyes. Failure became instruction. You learned precision, what to invest in, what to release, what to protect. What was meant to end you ended up shaping your purpose. You no longer chase approval the way you once did. You understand how quickly praise fades. You no longer depend on validation to move forward. You also no longer fear solitude. You have learned that being alone can be safer than being surrounded by the wrong energy. And you no longer confuse effort with worth. You understand that exhaustion does not equal value. Overgiving does not prove loyalty. Suffering does not earn love. This clarity did not arrive easily. It was earned through pain faced honestly. And that is why, even when wounded, you keep walking forward. You are not dragging yourself blindly anymore. You move with awareness. You move with intention. Nothing broke you. Everything activated you. And that activation is why you continue surviving what was meant to stop you at every turn. Capricorn, listen carefully now. You are not surviving by chance. You are not here because life spared you randomly. You are still standing because your life was designed for endurance. Your path has always required strength because what you are meant to carry requires time, depth, longevity. You were never built for short victories or quick applause. You were built to outlast cycles, to move through storms without losing direction, to remain when others fade away quietly. You rise differently, not loudly, not desperate, but deliberately. Quiet strength has always been your language. While others needed attention to keep going, you learned how to continue without being seen. Nothing you survived was wasted. Every silent battle shaped your resilience. Every heavy season reinforced your foundation. Every moment you thought went unnoticed was strengthening something within you. Even the pain that felt unfair served a purpose you could not see at the time. Nothing was ignored. Nothing was meaningless. You are still here because your spirit was never meant to disappear. You were meant to endure, to stabilize, to remain solid when the ground beneath others collapses. That is your nature. If this message reached something deep inside you, gently write, "Still standing," in the comments. Not for recognition, not for attention, but as a quiet reminder to yourself that you made it through everything. And if you feel aligned with this kind of truth, consider subscribing, because this is not the end of your unfolding. This is only a pause before the next chapter reveals itself. Stay grounded, stay aware, stay connected to your inner strength, and never forget this. You don't survive because life is always kind to you. You survive because you are stronger than everything that tried and failed to erase you.